actually have to go through a piece of property from head to toe before you would jump into it.
Right.
Sure that the zoning is correct. But it reminds me with the MLS, I do remember seeing the MLS place that it's much more thorough, accurate, relevant, up to date in terms of the information that you get from it.
Well, I'll
I
show you
wonder if
one of the things
I
I'll
wonder
show
if
you here.
yeah, and what makes me think that the MLS service would take the place of searching on individual real estate platforms, as that would be more of an all-inclusive, more scholarly place to go.
Absolutely. So for
More
example,
dynamic,
this property right here, if I pull up what we call Real List, which is the CoreLogic data, okay, that they've collected from all of the county information. It just kind of gives you a background about the property. It tells you what its total, the total assessed value. It tells you what the state equalized value is, the capped value, the taxable value, tells you what your annual taxes are per year, gives you some information about the past, as far as what they were, paying in the background. Tells you how many bedrooms, baths, the whole 9 yards here, square footage, the lot size, whether it has a basement, doesn't have a basement, is it finished, partially finished, whatever, what type of heating system, all of that good stuff, right? So you get a little background knowledge right here at your fingertips. And then it gives you, it also gives you like your estimated values here. So that's based upon other sales in the area. Okay.
Probably
and
the assessor contributing to that, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and then you can see if it was previously listed, how much it was listed for, when was the last time it was sold. All of that good information is here, like I said, and all the characteristics are here. So of the property. Just a little.
I think personally, I think when you look at that, I think it's kind of interesting to see how many owners it's had and how quickly each owner relinquished control of the property. That maybe there might be a reason why you don't want to.
Absolutely. But again,
that
information is here and it's easily accessible to you by having that access to the MLS.
You know what I can tell you honestly about real estate. I mean, it's glorious, but going back 10 years ago when I was looking for my house, I had a wonderful gentleman. His name was David Ridley. He was my agent. And me and him, we would go out and look at houses together. But would you believe it if I told you there are some odd houses that are very dangerous? Some of them have black mold that you could, like, literally, you could go inside, go into the basement, and the smell would be so strong you could fall over and die. Those properties that have funny shaped lots where they're shaped like a triangle, where they have disputes with boundaries with the neighbors. I've seen properties that don't perk, where the water runs away and removes the foundation. So you might have a beautiful, I literally saw one in Milford that was up on a hill. They had a beautiful, serene view of the lake below, and it could wash the house right into the lake. There was no foundation to hold it. You have to be very, very careful, But I've seen things that would surprise the people, that you'd never think would exist. I've seen where you might walk into a house, the previous owner was mad as hell because he lost his house. And so he might literally cut a square out of the living room and cover it with a rope that he would nail down. That way, when people would walk in, they'd fall through the hole and get hurt.
Yeah, you're describing what an REO agent does.
Yes.
Yes, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, wow, that sounds like a book we should write. Yeah. That is the life of an REO agent. That's exactly true. I mean, they cut the wires out of the walls, they move ceiling tiles and remove.
They put concrete down the drain. I mean, anything they could do to be hateful.
They leave their pet snakes.
Yeah, we've had that. Yeah, we've had that. The pet snake. But no, I mean, that's why I say I don't see having a real estate license for a real estate investor as being a detriment. I only seeing that being able to enhance your
Mhm.
ability. Now, mind you, if you walk up to a property that you're interested in purchasing and it's already listed, well, as a listing agent, you would have to contact, as a licensed agent, you would have to contact the listing agent. I mean, you don't go around them and go directly to the homeowner. That in itself is a no-no. But other than that, I don't really see what the detriment is. Do you, Mark?
No. And I bought homes off the MLS that I had a property owner that had like 6 dogs and didn't take them outside to go to the bathroom. And I had to actually walk out of the house 3 or 4 times just to grasp some air. But it just, all it was cleaning the house up. Yeah, I mean, it was bad, but it was an incredible buy. So, and I didn't have any competition. So that's what.
Did you do the dirty work yourself,
No,
Mr. Mark?
no,
You'd have to
no.
replace the floorboards if it's that bad.
No,
Yeah.
I had a crew going. Yeah, I've done that too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just saying that with the MLS, if you search it, you can start to find that kind of stuff. So it's just a tool for you to be able to sit there and look for it. And you can talk to the other agent. They'll tell you, take a gas pass.
Do you have to have a licensed agency sponsor you for you to be able to take the real estate agent classes? Because I
No,
No, not
I
to
know
take
if you
the
went
real,
for
not to take
No.
the real estate classes. It's a 40-hour class. There's two really good schools here in Michigan. One is the Michigan Real Estate Institute with Namir and Kevin George, and the other one is Middleton. I highly recommend that if anybody is going to take a real estate course in any state, that you don't necessarily just do online learning. I know a lot of people do it that way, but I like to see kind of the interaction with the brick and mortar because you can ask the questions. You can also hear the other questions that other people are asking because some people are posing situations. The instructor is going to be speaking to you about they're going to give you real life examples of things, and they're also going to help you so that way you know what to expect on the test. They get that information. They don't get the exact questions, but they get the generalized information because they too are judged by how many people pass the exam. So the states regulate that for the real
So
estate.
they're very motivated to make sure you do a good job.
Well, yeah,
It reflects on
they're
them.
very motivated to make sure you know what you need to know to pass the exam. It's the broker's job to teach you what you need to know to be able to list and sell real estate, right? That's the broker's job.
After you would get a real estate license, is there continuing education that you
Yes,
have to have
every year.
to keep it
So
Yep.
current?
yeah, for example, in the state of Michigan, it's 6 hours every year, or 18 hours over a 3-year period.
Oh, and if you're not current, do you lose your access to the MLS?
You can for sure because they'll suspend your license at the state if you're not current. They can audit you at any time. It's your job to make sure that they know that your CE credits are up to date, and if they are doing a random audit check, which the state of Michigan actually does, they can check and see if you've completed your credits because the burden of proof lies on you to provide that, so that you've actually taken those classes. Like I said, your license gets renewed here in the state of Michigan every 3 years. So you have a 3-year time period with which to complete those 18 hours, but you need 6 credit hours every year. 2 of those must be legal updates, and you must have ethics training as well. So.
So what are the name of the 2 schools?
Oh, okay. So it's Middleton and Michigan Institute of Real Estate. Now I know
those are the 2 top schools.
Yes, absolutely. Now I know for a fact that the Georges were actually doing kind of a hybrid course where even during like the shutdown, they kind of went to this style of learning, this format, to where they were teaching in an interactive class like via a Zoom meeting. So it was actually kind of nice because it was like being there in person, even when you couldn't be. So they actually, went about it the right way to keep their students engaged and being able to learn and not just, trying to read. Because here's the problem with online learning, and this is with anything. They give you the book, and the book has 1,000 pages per chapter, and you're trying to read all of that, take all of that in so that you can get to the exam at the end of that section and be able to pass that before you can move on to the next section. Well, a lot of that information isn't necessary to pass the exam. There's key points that you need to know, and they're going to kind of drill that in as to what it is that you can expect on the test. It's going to be agency, it's going to be the laws, it's going to be ownership, all of those types of things, and they're going to drive that point home so that you can remember that information. And then once you're licensed, you're going to need a broker that will sponsor you, otherwise your license will sit in limbo. So I would highly recommend that if you're going to get a real estate license, that you're out there interviewing brokers as much as they're interviewing you, that you're interviewing them to make sure that what you want to do with your license is, that you're able to do that within that brokerage. So you have to have those frank conversations. You have to tell them what you're looking to do. You have to say, listen, I really want to, buy properties for myself. I want to be a real estate investor, and I want to also, dabble in, listing and selling properties if it makes sense for me to do that, when I come across them. But this isn't my mainstay, or, this is part-time, or whatever it is that you're looking to do. But just be honest and open with them, and then they'll tell you whether that works with their culture or it doesn't. Anything you want to add to that, Mark?
No, that nailed it.
Okay. I'm just saying that really it's about the culture of the office. Okay. And what the broker wants to promote there. I mean, there's enough real estate business to go around. You don't have to have a cutthroat industry. I mean, a lot of it, has been in years past, but it doesn't need to be that way. Everybody can do business.
Yeah. The one thing about Maureen's office, if you want to go in and work, you can make some good money. There's all kinds of deals that she can put in front of you too, that if you're brand new. Anyway.
Any more questions?
Yeah. More
Anybody else?
questions.
Well, is it okay to ask another question?
Yeah,
If
go
it's
right
okay.
ahead.
Just out of curiosity, I live in White Lake, and I was driving down the road one day, and I saw a sign that said real estate classes that was for an agency. I thought it looked awfully nice, and I noticed that you're talking about real estate culture, that the mentality, thought processes, or even the goals of different real estate offices are very different from what each one wants to achieve. It's like they each have their own little personality. When I had gone into the little office and just inquired, just out of curiosity, just to see what the lady would say, they said that they had offered a referral to a real estate class that you could become a licensed agent. And I asked her, when you're looking for deal, or I mean, not like, say if I wanted to do it as a side gig to where you'd make a little extra, try to sell a house to somebody.
Mhm.
Are there brokerages that exist that, for example, that will give you clients and referrals that you can meet people looking to buy a house, and then you kind of help them over the long run, help
Yeah.
them find a house that is suitable for them, and then you'd get paid after
Yeah.
your job is done?
There's
Or is
one,
it more
there's
like
no, there,
blind calling, reaching out to people you don't know, or spending your own money, blindly? That would frighten me. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
can I answer that? There's one,
I'd be curious.
there's one on White Lake. It's on Elizabeth Lake Road, and it does have a sign out front sometimes that says real estate classes by the old Circus. in that area? Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yes, I know where that's at. That wasn't the actual one. The one that I was talking to is the one that was on
Right.
Richardson Road, to the left of the little McDonald's. That's on
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
Union.
talking about real estate one over there. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the one that's close to Circus, that's Maureen's office. And you should go in and you should
Oh,
go,
no shit.
yeah, you should go in and,
Honey, you're do you live near there? You're my neighbor.
Yes, actually I do. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
actually, I do. So it's funny that you say you're from White Lake because I'm from White Lake.
Yeah.
So anyhow, yes, but no, to answer your question. Okay, so teams in some of the brick and mortar brokerages will offer you the ability to receive leads. Okay, but those leads come with a caveat on a team. The team leader determines most people that come in to be simply a buyer's agent. Okay, so any listings that you would take in, any clients that would be yours, would typically be turned over to the team, to their listing professionals. They have very specific people who only go on those listing appointments and get those listings. So what you're doing is you're basically turning your clients over to the team. Okay, and they would put you on as a buyer's agent. Okay, so you would simply be going out and showing properties to buyers that they would be kind of vetting, okay, to make sure that they're, pre-qualified and whatnot and ready to buy. Our office, specifically Villa, offers several different lead sources here that our agents can receive those. And exactly what you're speaking about, without having to put the money out up front. Like, for example, if you were going to be a real estate agent and anywhere, and you would find like Zillow is going to contact you and they're going to tell you that they're going to sell you leads. Okay, well, they want you to pay for those zip codes and those leads up front. So not one of those might turn out, but maybe one does, and that one happens to pay for, your, costs involved, your expenses, with which to purchase that, kind of area. The one thing that people need to know about Zillow is they sell that area to more than one person, more than one real estate agent. Okay, so you're competing with several different people for that slot. All right. And the higher up you are, the more it costs you. So yeah, so there's that. Now we have other lead sources. Like I said, we have partnerships with companies, and we set that up so that our agents receive listings as well as buyers. And we actually just launched a brand new app that comes through on our agents' phones. It's called Velocity, and Velocity actually sends the leads directly to your phone, and they're vetted by our concierge. We have a concierge team. So we have people that, work around the clock and actually vet these buyers and sellers as well. And they make sure they're pre-approved because they turn around and they send them over to, the loan officers to get pre-qualified before they actually send them off to the agents to even engage with them, so that you're not really wasting your time. You're dealing with people who are, ready, willing, and able buyers, or, and or sellers at that moment. So, a lot of people like to look at real estate. And so their first course of action, of course, is to go online and they start looking at like Zillow and Trulia and all of those things. And one of the things that Zillow does is they capture their information. And so then they reach out to them and say, hey, we see you were searching, and then they turn around and they'll send you this hot lead. Well, that hot lead might just be somebody who was just bored and looking at houses. Okay, so it doesn't mean anything. But our concierge team, for example, is actually having that phone conversation. They're saying to them, we see you're searching. Are you ready to buy? Are you pre-approved? How quickly are you looking to buy? They're having those hard question conversations. In fact, we were setting that up. I happen to be one of I happen to be one of the people who said to them, let's cut through the BS, right? Let's cut to the chase. Let's ask those hard questions. What are we doing to make sure that these people are actual viable leads? Yeah,
you
not
don't
waste
want to
money.
waste your time with people that aren't serious. You want people that are practical, ready,
Correct.
and suitable for that,
Yes, absolutely. And I
that
don't
are
want to
going to
waste
go
any of my
through.
agent's time. No. Time is money in this business. And, and we don't need tire kickers, right? We
Yeah.
want viable leads. So that's one of the things that we did. I mean, I'm going to give you the Villa spiel real quick. It's not a hard sell, but I'll just tell you what it is. We make home ownership simple, right? Find a home, get a loan, close and own. That's our deal, right? That's our
I
hard
like it.
sell. I just gave it to you.
Now you want to have a good laugh, Miss Maureen?
Okay.
You probably seen my house. My Aunt Sherry was an interior decorator when I was a boy. I used to help her remodel houses, and she had taught me a lot about remodeling. She used to do Victorian houses, and I was with her every step of the way. She always taught me to choose a theme that you like,
Mhm.
stick to it, and everything you put in it follows the one theme.
Right.
Don't put anything eclectic because you'll weaken the central core of your theme. And then, of course, follow Newton's color wheel. Now, when it came to this house, I bought this house relatively cheaply back in 2010, and it was pretty much a shithole. Now, if you want to see what something ugly could become that would be nice, that somebody would enjoy for your laughability, my theme that I liked was I wanted a romantic oriental home because I was looking to get married and have children and so forth. And so I thought I'd make a house comfortable, really for the enjoyment of a lady. And the thing is when I went to paint the outside of the house, I thought too much about the inside theme that it reflected on the outside theme, that it became very mismatched with the rest of the neighborhood, that I made a mistake and chose the wrong color in trying to make it beautiful. It doesn't match, it matches what's on the inside of the house, but it doesn't match the outside of the house. It was a mistake I made. Have you ever seen the orange house that sits on Cooley Lake Road and Round Lake Road, where there's a food truck sitting outside that looks like a creepy ice cream truck, a motor home, and a hot sports car? It's on Cooley Lake Road on the corner of Round Lake Road, just past that where the curve is at. It's
Uh-huh.
orange. It's orange with black with red shutters. It's meant to be a romantic oriental house. Instead, it looks like it's a Halloween house. And a lot of people get really weirded out by that, and it was just a mistake. But I'll show you what the inside looks like. Because when I bought this house, it was ugly, it was gray, it was falling apart. The outside was a really dingy blue color. It was just gross. It took me 5 years to remodel it, but I'll show you something beautiful if you want to see for your entertainment. Because you're talking about flipping properties.
Right.
You can take something ugly and you can
Mhm.
make it beautiful. And it took me, a little while to do, but I mean, but we have, a beautiful life now because of it. And I'm proud of it. If you can see it, I mean, these
Mhm.
are all textured walls. I did them myself. So I just thought I'd share with you that it's not a weirdo that lives in your neighborhood. But people think that.
Well, it takes,
I just thought I'd show you as a joke.
well, yeah, but
Here it is.
I see some of them all the time. I mean, we see some that are, the Victorian houses in Milford, those are a perfect example how, they're all various colors, they're all very, decorated various ways. It's all in what you like. I mean, everybody's perception of, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And like you said, you took what you did on the inside and you also made it match with what was on the outside, but it didn't
Yeah.
match your neighbors.
Yes, it was a huge mistake. I really should have stayed color coordinated, but I wasn't thinking. I'm a man. We don't
Or
think
neutral.
all
Or,
the time. And
or neutral. Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
I know we always laugh because, we'll say We could always go the Fannie Mae route, Kilman beige with white trim, right? Like, or how gray is the new beige, you know, those are that's the, you know, the new format. I see we have another question. So Dwayne, I have a question. Do you have a segment in your organization that is focused on buy and hold? Mark?
Sorry, say that again.
Okay, so the question came from Dwayne. He says, I have a question. Do you have a segment in your organization that is focused on buy and hold? You know, I think on your YouTube channel.
It's a really
Some of your
good
videos?
question. I'm trying to think. I mean, not so much, to be honest with you. I mean,
Because I think a lot of people dumped their rental properties, didn't they? When the market kind of
did.
turned back around and they were able to make a profit. I think what you're gonna see, Dwayne, and this is just my humble opinion, but I think that as foreclosures start to come back on the market, I think you're gonna see a resurgence of the buy and hold, because I think they'll be buying lower and be getting the real estate and, you know, the investing properties, the rentals again, because I think that you'll have more homeowners who are going to be going back into rental, you know, into tenancy. So that way, because they're going to, you know, need a place to live, clearly, especially if they're, you know, exiting their home, their current situation. So I think that you'll see that picking back up, and you will, you know, have Mark probably interviewing some of those people coming up with, you know, because I know there's a few. Well, Mark, you're getting ready to do a video, aren't you, on an apartment building? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Thursday, we're going through somebody that that's all they do is refurbish apartment buildings, fix them up. And in some cases they've kept them, but the majority of them are resold after they're rented up. And he does something unique. He has some of his apartment buildings, he has 100% veterans in them, and ends up creating a community around it. So that'd be pretty interesting walking through with him. Dwayne, the thing that I think it would be interesting to you is to look at the lease option thing, because it's designed to keep long-term tenants and end up with above market rents. And I can send you everything on it, and it's designed to find a real quality tenant, or I shouldn't say a tenant, but somebody actually wants to buy the property, which may fit your long-term plans. I don't know.
And then the guys that are speaking on Wednesday, some of them are actually buy and hold. They have, you know, several rental home properties that they're currently.
Yeah, there's a ton of people that are on the call that are long-term keepers of properties. So
absolutely.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you coming on.
Here's my contact information. Mark's email I had put up there in the chat room.
Yeah, and if you join the meetup and you send something in, I'll get it.
Yep, absolutely. So there's my contact info. And if anybody's looking to get licensed and you're in the state of Michigan, reach out to me. We have agents all over the state. Or if you're in another state, reach out to me anyways, and I might be able to introduce you to the broker of record in your state. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate all the questions and the interaction tonight. And look forward to seeing you soon. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's a wrap.
Thank you.